this scene is very, very similar to Titanic, and the whole early pickup process, I guess you could say, is very similar to Titanic. If you have not seen Titanic, then in the beginning, the girl is trying to jump off the boat to commit suicide, and the guy shows up and basically says, "Okay, well, if you're going to jump off this boat, I'm going to have to jump in after you, which means we're both going to die."
You're distracting me. Go away.
I can't. I'm involved now. You let go and I'm gonna have to jump in there after you.
So similarly, he's like, okay, if you don't agree to go out with me, I'm gonna like kill myself, right? So it's sort of a similar thing in a way. And then also we have this thing where her life is very regimented. She's like, oh, I do this and I do this, and then I'm gonna piano lessons. I have Latin. I have this tutor, and then and I'm gonna go to this, gonna go to one of these great schools. Me and my parents have this all worked out, and so she has this very uh, constrained, planned out, step by step life. And he essentially challenges her on that and says, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting." And she says, "Well, what do you mean?" And he says, "Well, I thought you were more free." The street with him, which is a violation. You're not supposed to do that, right? That's like something that is not socially acceptable. And she's always socially acceptable. That's the way that it comes across. Is she's always socially acceptable. And now she's getting her to break the rules by laying down in the middle of the street. Now he also says, "Oh, my dad and I used to do this." So it's kind of he's opening up and sharing something about himself with her, and by talking about his close relationship, or what seems to be a fond memory that he had of his dad, that seems like it was a bonding experience between them. So he's sort of opening up emotionally to her a little bit and adding some depth to his character. And then we have then they and then when they're laying down in the street, she says, "Painting, I paint." Right? So she says, "Oh, this is the thing. This is my thing. My thing is painting." And she shares that. Now, of course, it took her a while to bring that out. She listed out all of the other things that she is required to do or is supposed to do. And only later on, after they're laying down in the street, where she's already broken sort of the first violation of society, or one societal violation, does she say, "Oh yeah, painting, that's my thing." And she says that usually she has so many thoughts in her head, but with painting, all those thoughts fade away. So it's like that's when she can really be herself. That's kind of the idea, is that when she paints is when she can be herself.
You asked me what I do for me.
Uh-uh.
I love to paint.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Huh.
Most of the time I have all these thoughts bouncing around in my head. But with a brush in my hand, the world just gets kind of quiet.
And I think that this is a great way of understanding a lot of how many women see the world. Um, for for women, growing up, their relationships are very important. In elementary school, we, the boys traditionally are playing some game or playing some kind of sport, and the girls are sitting around chatting and talking. Their relationships are important. Whereas for guys, traditionally, our performance is important. How we perform in a team, in a game, that's what determines not whether people like us. Because, obviously we would choose someone for our team we don't like if it means we're going to win. But and that's exactly the point. Whereas among women, it's like whether they're liked or not is a more important factor for them. And so there's this idea that because they need to be liked all the time, that they feel much more influenced from those around them. And there is this trait in the 5 personality trait model called agreeableness. And on average, women are higher in agreeableness than men. And agreeableness is about wanting to cooperate with other people rather than wanting to compete with them. And one of the things that Jordan Peterson says about this trait is that people that are high in agreeableness, they have a hard time distinguishing their own desires from the desires of other people around them. And so I think that that's when she's talking about this painting and being free and contrasting that with her kind of routine, we see how she feels how painting is so important to her, but it's subsumed and only brought out kind of later. Okay, after she's sort of already broken through one violation barrier. Titanic also has this where she engages in certain behaviors that are anti-social, and maybe we'll do Titanic at some point.
To help other people find this channel and to help us grow, and to make sure you don't miss the next one, like and subscribe down below, and we'll see you next time.